Hi, this is Sharifa. Welcome or welcome back. Welcome back. Doo-doo. Hey, so I am here sharing with you my I Am America series on this YouTube channel. So, of course, along with that, I do have other um, things that I am doing on the channel. So let me break down some of the things that I am doing. So this is my I Am America series, and this series the inspiration came from me as a black woman, African American woman, wanting to share of my America, right? And so what my America looked like. And so, with that journey, I will be introducing you guys to a lot of things besides books. But I'm looking into food, movies. I love going to museums. Although, depending on where we're at, I may not be able to show you anything inside the museums. We'll see how we can get around that. However, on this journey, I Am America, I want to know what does your America look like, right? From your friends, your family, the things that move you, inspire you. And that's what my America looks like. And so, I want to thank you if you have made it in this far in the process, and if you've seen any of my videos, my mostly book recs on I Am America series. Every month I want to try to tackle a different theme. Now, I was a little ambitious this first month around. My goal is to create 10 videos from the series, and this is one of them right now, which I'll be getting into really soon. But the goal of it is to give you short snippets of book recommendations for Black History Month in I Am America. And the subject varies. So I did various subjects, and I don't want to give them away because I do want you to go ahead and watch the rest of the videos if you have time. At some point, I will post in one of my reading vlogs about the books that I mentioned in my series. I don't know when I'm going to do it. It may be a quarterly newsletter. I haven't decided yet, but I do want to put something out there, put down the books, what inspired me to put that in certain segments, just to give you an idea of who I am, and just start the conversation of really good books, right? So yeah, so that's part. So for January, I did Black History Month. For March, which we are heading into, I will be focusing on Women's History Month. Now, the only thing about it is, as I created 10 short videos for February, which was very ambitious for me, someone being a person who is horrible at editing, I have not been consistent with my YouTube videos. And even with this consistency now, I want to be consistent, but I just don't want to constantly throw content that doesn't speak to who I am. So I do have a lot of videos where I rant though. So if you like a good rant and like going down a rabbit hole, check out some of those. I call them my bedtime chats or my bedtime rants. I don't know. Like they're a combination of some of both. I'll probably make a I'll probably make a separate space for them, but they're pretty funny rants. But anyway, let's get into why we're here. So for this particular I Am American series segment, I want to give you book recs on education. And so these books were inspired by various segments of American education as it pertains to black people. So let's get to some of them that Our most famous, let me grab this one. And this is just four of them. I didn't have time to grab too many of them because my goal is not to grab any more than five. And so I could have grabbed a fifth book, but I just chose not to. So I want to share what I have with you now. This book right here, it can be found just about in any library across the United States. Unfortunately, with our current book ban going on, you may or may not be able to find this one. Who knows? But it tells the story of Board versus Education, Board versus Brown, and in the desegregation of United States public school system. Simple Justice, Ray Kluger, and he has another book. Oh my goodness! It's about the history of smoking. Good book. But this one right here in particular, Simple Justice, the history of Brown versus Board of Education and Black America's struggle for equality. This is a winner of a Pulitzer. This is a highly recommended read. You can actually find this in paperback now on just about every mainstream website. I never give you guys links on where you can buy it from. I give you the titles. And so, yeah, it's a pretty good book. It goes into the history of how we have, of how the NAACP, along with Thurgood Marshall, went to the Supreme Court to argue the desegregation of schools. So the next book I'm going to get into is someone that we probably don't hear a lot about, but he was one of the most sought after, most profound Black educators, and it is the book is called The Lost Education of Horace Tate. Vanessa Cedar Walker. I want to say that this is his daughter, but I'm not sure. No, this is not his daughter. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've only read snippets of this book. I have not sat down and read it yet, but I've saw a lot of author interviews, and that's how I ran across this book. The author, she on her book press release, and this book was released a few years ago. She talked about the history of Horace Tate. He's no longer with us, but it's an interesting story of how she ran across, some information about him and started doing her research. And that's how we find a lot of our heroes, right? These are unsung heroes. Uncovering the hidden heroes who fought for justice in schools. He is also mentioned in Simple Justice. So when I heard the name Horace Tate, you know how sometimes you don't know, like really a lot of details about a person, but then you hear a name. That's what they did. The name triggered me to from reading Simple Justice. So this is probably one of the book recs that I have not read yet, and I do recommend it. The next one I'm going to give you is one that I have recommended to homeschool educators across the board, well, Black homeschool educators, Black teachers on teaching, Michelle Foster. Very thin book, very short essays, and it basically gives the history on Black educators and why it is important for representation in our classrooms. So if you have someone out there in school right now, and they're like a person that, if you're deciding whether to become a teacher, if you're a minority or if you're a Black person, any other Black person, I encourage you to read this book. It gives a good history of why, like I said, representation is important. And it's a quick read. Last but not least, this book, this is a good book. It was a controversial book at one point too, but I don't know why. It's called Why Are All the Black Kids Sitting Together in the Cafeteria? And other conversations about race. Um, this was written by Beverly Daniel Tatum, and this book is probably, I would think, a lot of educators should read. And it talks about the segregation within the schools, right? How black and brown children are pretty much, because of cultural nuances, kind of, like segregate themselves, and they become comfortable with the crowds that are more identifying to them, which is unfortunate, right? I mean, I am all for, schools that encourage diversity, but once you get inside those doors, it is up to the administrators and our teachers to make sure that we are still embracing, diversity in every area of the school. Now, it really does talk about the barriers that black children deal with within the school system. And these are not conversations that we are having on a regular basis. And this is why I recommend this one to every parent, every educator, and anyone who's concerned about our children's mental and emotional well-being, as it pertains to black children in the school systems. So this is one of many books. I do love collecting books alluding to the subject of education of black and brown children. I think it's something that we don't have enough conversations about, how not teaching the proper cultural histories in our schools affects everyone. And then we can say, we leave it up to the parents, we leave it up to the communities. Yes, we can. We can do that. However, I feel that as the government take the tax dollars from the taxpayers, I feel that they are obligated to keep that in the curriculum. So just keep that in mind while our government are pushing, DEI and they want to dismantle history, is that your tax dollars are going towards our public schools to make sure that our children are being taught about, the history, the true history of United States of America, and not a watered down version. So with that being said, I want to thank you for stopping by. Those four books, I will have them in the description, and if you have any more questions or if you have any more suggestions, I probably have books that I chose not to pull because I only wanted to pull 4. I do have other books on this subject in particular, but if you have some suggestions, please put them in the comment and let's have the conversation. Education is important, right? So until then, you have a beautiful day wherever you are. Thank you for stopping by, everybody. Do me a favor. If you made it this far, like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. Yeah, in that order. Take care wherever you are. Bye-bye.